Well, I would basically argue that the most important security threats today are the ones that you don't know. So you should kind of be actively looking for stuff that you don't know that have hit your organization already. Well, there's a number of ways that you can search for unknown threats. You can utilize threat intelligence that you gather from a number of sources. It could be open source threat intelligence. It could be something you acquire from a partner that produces threat intelligence feeds for you, or you can just analyze your own environment and come up with tangible pieces of threat intelligence to act on. My advice to companies to set up their services would be to, first of all, make it a business priority, not just a kind of technical IT thing, because you need buy-in from the senior management, because you need budget, you need resources, and to get that you have to understand the risk first of all. So do a threat model, do a risk analysis, come up with what are the kind of worst scenario things that could happen to your organization, and then kind of create investment cases to address those. And then it basically kind of comes down to the level of maturity that you're looking for. So it doesn't make sense for everyone to stretch for the kind of military grade security. Rather, you should have the kind of right amount of security for your business. So it's always a kind of a optimization problem. And then you have a number of ways of going. I think the kind of biggest issue is the people resources, having the staff to do stuff. So because in reality, even though much discussion is running around things like artificial intelligence and machine learning and stuff, in reality we're going to need those people to do stuff, at least in the foreseeable future, and those stack up and end up costing you a lot of money to have skilled personnel available, and obviously you can then get that staff on board internally in your organization, or you can outsource the process to a partner that has the skills and people. So how you kind of set up the operation, whether you trust a partner to do security monitoring or run a SOC for you, is really a matter of kind of how you optimize stuff. So it depends on, first of all, do you have the resources? You can do it internally if you do have the resources already. But in many cases, the IT organizations, the security organizations are very narrow. You don't have the kind of 10 people at minimum that you need to run a SOC, a security operations center, or a security monitoring service for that matter. So it comes down to how you're going to find the people and how you're going to staff the operation and how you're going to find the budget to do that. If you have all that, then by all means you can do it yourself. Then the kind of other portion of the how I see that you should kind of address this is that regardless of if you run a SOC internally or outsource it to a partner, it's always an ecosystem thing anyway. So you're going to have an effective network of partners to whom you share threat intelligence, with whom you do incident response type of activities together and coordinate stuff when they kind of when issues aren't solely within your own control and your own environment, which they rarely are. So it's always an ecosystem thing. And then again, it can help to have a kind of a partner that does this on a daily basis and have all the connections to the national security authorities or to technology vendors or to threat intelligence providers and stuff like that. So it's a dual kind of thing. It can be done internally. I would argue that from a kind of business case perspective, you have to have some really kind of military grade kind of a reason to do it in-house, because usually from a business case perspective, it's always cheaper to do it as a shared service.